Hello there, survivors, and welcome back to ARK Survival Ascended. Today, I've built the ultimate Rex breeding pen with high walls to keep everything safely inside and 2 big rooms to breed all of your Rexes in, as well as a middle room for hatching dinos, maybe a little bit of crafting, and a way up to the rooftop. The rooftop can be used for parking, so you can easily use your flyers to bring things to the base, and you even have some crafting, storage, and living quarters in the building that is on top of the roof. So this was definitely designed around Rexes and being able to do all your breeding in a safe environment. So you have 2 big pens where you can breed inside, safely close them off as well as the middle connecting part where you can do your cryo fridges, your hatching of babies, etc. Then of course you have the whole compound around it, which can be used in multiple ways. Can be used of course for more room for more breeding of all of your Rexes, or if you close up all of the inside doors, you can of course use this as a place to lure in Rexes, or maybe drop them off inside and tame them inside of the compound itself. The compound walls have been designed to make sure that nothing gets in, and of course no Rexes get out, so it's looking a little bit fortified here with different layers including metal spikes, some of the fence cosmetics as well as the barbed wires ones, and we have some zip lines on the top of it, kind of looking like some more wires and more fencing is going on. The build definitely has some strong Jurassic Park vibes, which was totally intentional, and I think it makes for a really cool breeding base. Of course, even though it's designed to house some of your Rexes, you could easily of course do a bunch of breeding here for different creatures, as I'm pretty sure most things will be able to fit in the base. If not in the inside base, then definitely in the compound ground before it. And as you can see, I have a lot of roof space as well, which is great for your flyers. You can also, of course, use this space for whatever you need. And as you can see, the Ryanetha can use it as a parking ground, which is, of course, a very strong combination because you can carry things around and easily drop them off inside of the compound if you want to go for some safer taming methods. And then if you wish, you can even live in the living quarters that are built on top of the build, or it can just be a little outpost on top of your breeding facility. Whatever you want, you can do in this big Rex breeding pen. With that out of the way, let's take a closer tour at the entire build and yeah, see what I have created today. So here we go. This is my Rex breeding pen. I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. Of course, heavily inspired by Jurassic Park vibes, especially the thatch roofs on the buildings there, but also of course these fences to keep your tames safe. Definitely let me know down in the comments below if you would like to see more builds like this, like specific breeding facilities for specific dinos, and of course feel free to suggest whatever dino you would prefer to see next as well. Some of them might be big breeding facilities like the one I've built today, other ones might just be more stable builds for some of the smaller to medium-sized creatures. But I think it could be a really fun different way of doing these builds by building them for specific creatures and in, yeah, very different styles each time, I'm guessing. So this is the big Rex breeding pen. Quite happy with it. The main building, very cool. A little bit of the Jurassic Park vibe, of course. A little bit based off the visitor center, but then of course with different designs and twists to make sure that we have 2 big breeding pens. But I'm also especially happy with the way the fences around the compound turned out. So I've used a lot of the Klinger's Concrete custom cosmetic. It's a premium one, but it does look very good and it gives up heavily Jurassic Park vibes with these concrete looks and especially the gates, etc. So it's definitely a clean look, but of course you can easily build this with different cosmetics or just mostly build this building out of stone, maybe have the walls made out of metal, although stone would be fine as well. But I do think these concrete custom cosmetics give it that just an extra little touch. And as I said, I've got the chain link fence here with the barbed wire on top to really drive that feeling of a secure facility home. And then using zip lines between these pillars, we've created some more fencing, which is really cool. Maybe like feels a little bit like there's electric fences on top, right, to keep everything in safely. So it's a really cool way to get quite a cool wall design in my opinion. And then of course we got these pillars to kind of break up an otherwise boring wall. But yeah, I'm very happy with the way this wall design turned out, and yeah, I definitely think it's a nice touch. It does really feel like a secure compound and a good breeding facility, and it is a decently sized place, of course, especially because you got quite a bit of ground inside of the compound as well, but the structure limit doesn't go too high, so you should be easily available to build this on official servers as well, which is of course great. So yeah, that is the compound, and then if we jump back down, we can actually approach the gate here. It will open. So this is also from the Klinger Concrete custom cosmetic, these nice gates, which really feels very appropriate for a place like this. And then you can see we have a pretty decent amount of space here on the inside, where you can easily have a few dinos out. Of course, in this particular case, I've got a bunch of Rexes out in awesome bright colors everywhere. But yeah, even bigger creatures you could definitely house in here if you wanted to, or just use this as your entire base. I'm pretty sure you'd get away with that too. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that there was a base really catered around breeding, with a nice compound out in the grounds as well to use for all your extra space that you might need. So basically the build is divided in a few different sections. We've got two big major breeding bays where you can easily have some creatures on the inside and of course have babies growing up. And then we have the middle section, which I've kind of dedicated to being where you hatch the eggs. You can have all your cryo fridges, your trays, your embryos, whatever you want to do, just in case, you know, you want to do more than just Rexes. It would be in the middle part. And then of course we've got stairways up to where the crafting, storage and living quarters would be as well. So one of these breeding pens looks like this, so plenty of room. As you can see, there's definitely room for a lot more Rexes if I would want to. We got a little baby growing up here as well, and yeah, you definitely have plenty of space. Got some cryo feeding troughs and everything around, of course, but yeah, mostly it's designed around having a bunch of space. And I'm pretty sure it's big enough and tall enough that you could even do like gigas or carters inside if you really wanted to as well. So it's definitely not only suited for breeding Rexes, but that's kind of what got me started with all this. And as I said, this is kind of where I would start hatching eggs in the middle here. We got a little bit of storage, we got some cryos, we got the fridges and the other breeding things you might need, as well as a little crafting station. I think this is from the metal furniture cosmetics, which is also from Klinger's, which is quite cool. Goes quite well with these. It's a free one. And yeah, we got a little Gigantoraptor here, of course, to help pick up eggs and grow babies up. And these are the Wasteland skins. They've added new Wasteland storage options, which are quite cool as well. And on the other side, we have another one of these breeding bays. So similar size, just, yeah, plenty of room inside for a bunch of breeding. Got some nice big windows. Of course, for the windows, I use Architect Structures Remastered. Klingers also has some windows. They do look a little bit different. But you could even go for a skin like that, where it just has like bars going across. It would also fit, would look a little bit more cruel, but yeah, I mean, there's plenty of other glass cosmetics nowadays that you could use if you do not play with the mods. But yeah, as you can see, plenty of room inside. So definitely, if you love breeding and you want a nice big safe place, this should definitely suit you very, very well. I also really like this entrance a little bit, with a little overhang here on the outside, just to kind of bring in that thatch already to the lower region, which really helps, of course, breaking up all the gray. But yeah, I do think the gray concrete look really suits a place like this that is like a Jurassic facility made for the safekeeping of all these Rexes. And yeah, you've got plenty of space. So on the inside, of course, there's also a way up to the top. So behind here, where we have all the breeding needs, we can actually go up the stairs all the way until we reach the rooftop. So here on the rooftop, you should have plenty of space to safely park your flyers, including the bigger ones like quetzes, rhinos, wyverns, you name it. Everything should easily fit on top of here, and especially of course rhinos are going to be very useful because you can easily carry things in, maybe even drop off wild creatures. As I said, like if you close up these doors and you make sure that all your tames are inside, you could of course tame some things by dropping it off in here. As long as you've built out of strong enough materials, they shouldn't really escape before you manage to knock them out, which will of course be a nice and easy way. But yeah, you will have enough place to park your flies here for sure, which is always nice. And then here are like the crafting and storage facilities of this build. So yeah, I did want to make sure that if you wanted to, you could use this as your full base. So as you can see, it's cozy, it's a nice round build, but you should have plenty of places to build some storage. You could have even a big forge inside. We've got the fabricator, the cooking facilities here as well, a fridge, the smithy, tinkering desk, everything is kind of available here, and you still have a decent amount of space, so you could even of course have a little bit more. And if you really wanted to, you could of course add in another layer at some point if you really wanted more space on the inside. But here at the top we do have another layer, which is kind of nice. The top of the build, you still have amazing views of course all the way around, and of course this is where I would have like a bed to log out or to respawn at, some personal storage and cryo fridges, and we have a little hangout spot here as well, just to kind of enjoy the piece. And you could have your blueprints up here, your Rex saddles of course, if this is a Rex breeding pen. And yeah, just a nice cozy little home with really cool views of course of the facility itself. So definitely feels like it could also be a really cool base or just a breeding outpost, whatever you prefer of course. But yeah, a nice little place to call home, and should give you decent amount of space. And of course you could always have more storage in the middle part down here. You could use this as a part of your base as well if you really wanted to live in here, because there is so much space. You could definitely also of course do the hatching and things out in one of these breeding bays, have this as more of maybe your storage hall and crafting hall, and then additionally have it part on top as well, and then you should not really run out of space. Yeah, but for breeders that often have a lot of creatures out at the same time, and especially if you're taming and breeding Rexes or even Gigas and Karchas, like the bigger creatures that just need a lot of space, I think this facility will definitely help you out, and it does look pretty cool at the same time as well. I'm still really happy with the way these fences turned out. Really is the vibe that I was going for, and especially in a tropical setting like this, I think they come across really well. But also the main build, it is a really cool build. I would really recommend using this cosmetic of course, but I do get it if you can't get the premium one or you don't want to spend money on the game. There's definitely ways to build it just with stone structures from the game itself, or again using metal, depending on what kind of look you want to go for. There's definitely alternate options, or probably also alternate cosmetics that you could use to still get a really cool looking base. But yeah, I'm really happy with this one. I hope you guys like it as well. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below if you want to see a full step-by-step build tutorial on how to build this one yourself. And of course, as I said before, if you have any suggestions for future builds in general, but specifically for breeding pens or breeding facilities or just stables for specific creatures, leave suggestions down below in the comments, and who knows, maybe the next one will be for your favorite creature. But yeah, I do think this one is really nice. I love the way this one turned out, and especially of course using the zip lines in creative ways, I think is always a really cool touch. But yeah, for the Jurassic Park fans out here, this one will feel right at home, I think. So there we go. Hope you like it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.